in this market right now. Markets in the red, Chairman Powell. Let's jump to the headline. Before we get into the numbers, Powell warns of quote-unquote challenging scenario for the Fed. And what is he talking about? He's talking about, where their dual mandate goals are in tension. And that would mean that, what are we talking about? That would mean you're talking about higher price at the same time that you have a growth slowdown in the economy. Their mandates, folks, are price stability and full employment. And if they're both at odds, they're in a problem. Not exactly what you want to hear from the Fed chairman, but the market reacting. We got the S&Ps. We're at session lows. Look at that acceleration. Begins at about 130. Prepared remarks he had in Chicago. And we begin at 53.60, and we are approaching 100 points, even below where we were at that time. S&P's off by about 3%. NASDAQ 100, we're off by 4.1%, 779 points to the downside, 18,180. You get the Dow right now off 856 or 2.1%. These are big moves in this market. I know I don't have to say it, but boy, talk about a give back of where we were last Wednesday. Russell right now off by 2.1%. We jump over to crude, up $1.43. Crude catching a bid at 62.75. We talked about gold, and it's not stopping. Look at that. Just since I came on the air, gold made a new all-time high, 33.57, as I mentioned. Sean Edwards, Vice President of Direction, he's coming up after the first break. We'll talk some gold. We'll talk some semiconductors. We'll talk some equities. Stay tuned for that one. Great day to have him on when you're talking about gold, man. Gold contract up $117. And, how about a couple of those, right? When you're talking about Nugget up by 4.4%, you jump over to Dust, one of them, and we'll talk. On the flip side, man, all right. S&P's off 160 right now, and let's jump to the headlines. So we begin with Powell. We may find ourselves in a challenging scenario in which our dual mandate goals are in tension. Now, the last part about this, right, the dollar yields, pretty remarkable. You got dollar weakness making lows as we speak as well, 99.28 right now, and you jump over to yields. So what do we have? We have yields dropping. You're looking at a 10-year right now. Okay, now this one is how the market's supposed to work, at least, right? What do we have happening? We have equities selling off. You have a risk-off scenario. People, investors, traders, taking money out of the equities. What are they doing it with it? They're hiding in safety and fixed income. That's pushing up the price of the 10-year right now. We have yields dropping with the 10-year now under 4.27%. Okay, so yields dropping, dollar weakness on that as we have the markets dropping as well. So at least that correlation of yields, because that, I think, was one of the most dicey parts of last week. All right, look at that complete reversal. We're right back to where we were, basically, March 20th. In the last month, it's been quite a roller coaster on the 10-year. But, when nobody was buying our 10-year, that was a problem. And we saw a reversal. And, we're back to 111.16 right now on the 10-year. And, boy, you take a look at some of these equities, all right? The next story out there that was the story before Powell was NVIDIA and ASML. We have a different outlook from ASML on a weekly basis. Lower lows and lower highs on NVIDIA from that high. You take a look at the daily, right? We've had some real gaps on the low, on the high, but boy, that is a series of lower lows and lower highs on NVIDIA. You see it from the high at 153, right? You see the sequence. Lower highs, lower lows. We're at 101. We have a recent low out there of NVIDIA of $86. Still $15 above that price level, but boy, NVIDIA, 10%. That is a number, folks. 101.07 right now. And ASML down 8.3%. These chip stocks, AMD off 10% right now. Intel shares off 5.4%. And there's the headline for NVIDIA. Had to find it. Scrolling up. Oh, come on. There we go. NVIDIA curbs and ASML. So NVIDIA, they're talking about potentially $5 billion, just that quick. $5.5 billion in related charges is what they could have to deal with as you're talking about one of their chips, the H20. Okay, they are now barred from NVIDIA selling that H20 to China. And at the same time, you're talking about AMD, said the export controls apply to their MI308. That's $800 million is what they're talking about. And then at the same time, you have ASML dimming their outlook for the semiconductor sector. And all of them combined. You talk about a haircut, that starts it. Chairman Powell accelerates things. And we got markets. Look at Intel still down 5.4%. All right, let's jump around. Netflix shares, jump around. Down about 2.4% today so far. Let's check out the banks. Finishing their strong earnings season. JP Morgan down about 2% right now. Bank of America down 2.1% right now. Tough market across the board. Let's go some retail. We got retail sales out this morning as well. Walmart, we were higher on some of that retail sales exuberance earlier, but we've given back with the market. Walmart down 3.3% right now. Target shares off by 2.5%. Kohl's has been a tough one. It just keeps getting tougher, man. Check out this chart. Whew. Tough to catch a falling knife when it just keeps falling, man. Whew. Look at that chart of Kohl's. Yeah, be careful of this one. And that's putting it lightly, man, for Kohl's. On the flip side of that, TJ Maxx. Been talking about this one recently. If you're looking for some channel lines, folks, to the upside, all right, check out that channel line of TJ Maxx. Everyone's going to be shopping at Marshall's, I guess. Strong channel line. We're right in the middle of it right now at 126, but you can see well-defined going back to where we were in 2022. And the other one I always bring up, because I do enjoy well-defined channels. McDonald's, how about Mickey D's? You got to go back to 2015. Okay, and yeah, you get outside of it in COVID, barely potentially on the outside, but maybe a little linear regression puts that bottom line. You can see Mickey D's strong upward channel on a monthly basis going back to 2015, almost 10 years. Remarkable. But even them, Mickey D's down by 1.2% right now at 308.66. All right, we jump around to some other headlines this morning, and yeah, how about Hertz, right? So Bill Ackman, Pershing Square Capital, they're coming in for Hertz. Not a monumental investment in terms of what it is. You're only talking about $46 million at the time of purchase, but that is a vote of confidence, man. And there's Hertz. You give back some of it with the market, but how about it? Up by 13.8%. Now, it's nice when you have that kind of money behind. He's obviously looking at the scenario that maybe they're not going BK because, boy, this chart is pretty close to BK. And check out that chart. They come out of the pandemic. They go through bankruptcy. They're actually worth more than you would have gone into bankruptcy for. They come out at 46, and they make some major errors on EV, that stock. But nonetheless, maybe you're finding a bottom. You've been shopping around for what? You're going on almost a year. Hertz shares up by 14%. And yeah, up by 14% on a day like today. And look at this market. 52.72 right now. S&P's off by 155. And yeah, we jump over to the VIX. We finish it up the first segment. 33.79 on the volatility index. All right, folks, stay tuned. We're coming back. We'll be talking with Sean Edwards, Vice President with Direction. As I mentioned, we're going to talk some Magnificent Seven. We'll talk some semiconductors, and we'll talk some gold as well. Gold, all-time highs. Markets in the red. I'll be right back, folks. Stay tuned.